Hi, hello, this is kazrisk, and right now you're listening to episode 5 of Koppai Podcast, and today we have a special Super Mario Maker Extravaganza celebration. Koppai! Super Mario Maker!
Koppai!
Yeah! Super Mario Maker is out. We've been playing it all weekend till late into the night, and then we wake up and our eyes open, and we just say to ourselves, Super Mario Maker time! And we love it. 10 out of 10. Best game ever. It's just phenomenal. So we're going to talk about that a lot today, even though we talk about it every single week. But we're also going to be talking about Star Fox, Pokemon Go, the N64, and then Disney just being sick son of a guns. And so I thought we'd just go straight into it, though, with Super Mario Maker. It's finally here, as your notes say. We've been waiting for a year and a half now, right? It's been a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really hyped that whole time. It wasn't really until this past year and like the Nintendo World Championships and all of that I really got excited. But still, it's finally here. And we're going to kind of go back and forth in this portion of the podcast and just kind of say what we like about the game, what's some things that we don't like, and what we think could happen in the future as far as DLC goes, as well as what the developers have said about Mario in light of the celebration. And so, Zach, do you like Super Mario Maker? Are you enjoying it?
I am definitely enjoying Super Mario Maker.
By the way, guys, I forgot to introduce. Did I ever say I'm joined by zakrisk? I'm joined by zakrisk, my brother, Mr. Koppai himself.
Hello.
I got so
Hello,
caught
everybody.
up in the celebration.
Koppai.
Koppai. But go
Yes. Yeah, I'm really loving Super Mario Maker. I've been playing it just nonstop. It's an addiction already, and it's causing me to neglect pretty much every other aspect of my life right now. But right now, I currently have it open. It's on my TV right now with a course that I am working on. So I think that shows if I'm liking it or not. Like I've just been constantly playing it. I was up till almost like 5 a.m. one night, like the first night that it came out.
Yeah.
And then last night, again, I kind of had to force myself to go to bed a little bit earlier and try to get back into a rhythm of things because it kind of just swept me off my feet. And I'm just in love. It's a new romance between this video game and me and you and so many people right now. It's really incredible. I'm loving it, yeah.
Yeah, I think the first night I played it, I was up till 4 a.m. We got it pretty late. We ordered it off of Amazon, so...
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Oh my gosh. I don't think I'm ever going to do that again.
I don't know if... I think I'll do it again, because I did very much so like being able to get some stuff done, and the game just came to me. But with a game like Super Mario Maker, where I was so eager to, like, with Yoshi's Woolly World, for example, I have that on my Amazon account, like, pre-ordered, and I won't mind getting that in the afternoon. Right. Uncharted 4, I may be kind of freaking out.
Fallout 4.
Yeah, Fallout 4 though, I may be fine. Like, I'm so pumped for Fallout 4.
Right.
But I know I'm going to be able to play that game for hours or years. And I'm going to be doing the same with Mario Maker, but like there was kind of a whole I want to be creating levels now while it's hot, like while people are playing levels. And so this was kind of a very timely release, where I just wanted to play it as quickly as everyone else got it. But yeah, so we got ours though this weekend, and then like you, I stayed up to I think about 4 a.m. making I only had like one level by the end of the night, or maybe 2 levels, because I was just so
something like that. Yeah,
I was so
I think
picky.
It was 2 with the question block and the Great Flood.
Yeah, and I think I may put in the description below, or at least in the blog version of this podcast, maybe I'll put a couple links to our levels so people can go try them out. But I'm also going to be doing a lot of coverage on my YouTube channel of like how I made my levels. But yeah, and it's one of those things also where like I forget to eat when I'm playing this game. And I love that. Like I used to have that a lot when I played when I was little. Like I just miss entire meals. Like would play like come home from school and play through dinner. Like a game that made you feel that invested that you just, oh wait, I forgot to eat. I probably should have a snack or something. Or games that just, I don't know, just like you say, just sweep you away. And it's definitely one of those games. And for so many ways, like creating is so fun. But like even today, like I'm kind of at a writer's block, or a level block, I guess you could say, for creating right now, because I have this idea and I really want to explore it, but I don't know exactly how to pull off the gameplay mechanics of it. And so just kind of brainstorm. I was going through 100 Mario challenge, and it's just, even that was very relaxing, very peaceful, because it's just entirely new Mario experiences every level that you've just never seen before. And so, but yeah, go on. Did you have anything else to add? I see a couple things in your notes. You love that you can reuse the same ideas.
Yeah, I was just kind of liking that, for example, wait, what was an example? Where just kind of the hopping up on things and jumping, and just how I used like when I remade the level, the Koji Boon remix, and used the Yoshi mechanic, or just going, and how the end of the level is a kind of extravaganza of power-ups and stars, and all the enemies, things like that. I think it's kind of cool how you can use a lot of those same gameplay elements, or even just having to use like the spring when you made the broken spring level, things like that. You can take some of those elements and use it again in a different level, but the way that you use it, you can do it in a more, a creatively different way, experiment differently with it, and make it feel like, I like how it just, so many levels feel good, and it's not so much the challenge. Maybe there's some challenge, but all the different subtle creative differences between the way people individually create their levels, I think is just, there's like a magic to it that's really enjoyable. And I think part of it's just that Mario charm. Just Mario is inherently fun, but I think there's this kind of this cool energy that's going around with this, taking it into your own hands, and maybe seeing an element that you see in a YouTube Let's Play of somebody making a level, and that gameplay element's really cool, so you're like, I'm going to incorporate that into my level. But so many things surrounding it, maybe you take this gameplay element from this level and this gameplay element from this, and mix it all together, and just all the different combinations is just really impressive to me. But even that, regardless, because I was thinking that pretty much I've seen when you go through this 100 Mario challenge, some of these levels that you come across are just so ridiculous that I'm thinking, at least like it has that magical quality where some of them, even though they're so ridiculous, there's still a fun vibe to it. But I think some of them are actually, some of them are just plain crap. I just can't say anything else about it. I just shake my head and move on. I feel bad. Like it's hard for me, despite the feel good things and some of those feel good levels. It's been pretty rare for me to actually star a level, because I feel it has to kind of have the whole package. It needs to feel professionally designed. It needs to have a good title. It can't just be, some random comment KLJ, and then star exclamation point. Like some of these level names, like I think people need to spend a little more time on that. But yeah, I don't know. It's awesome overall. So.
Yeah, because it's weird. Like Nintendo is so known for like quality and a polish, and like so every Mario game you see is just so. Everything's uniform and it's symmetrical, or it has like a grid, like it all aligns to the grid.
Right.
And that's like why I take so long with my levels, is because like there's no spot you'll see where there's like dead air, or there's no spot you'll see where it just kind of looks like unsymmetrical or like unappealing to the eye. I'll completely delete like certain sections if it doesn't line up quite right, and I'll go back and add in like little backgrounds and stuff, so it doesn't look just like some generic level from the themes and all that. And then all my titles are relevant to the level, and they're capitalized and stuff. And the same with yours, like you have those like capitalized and stuff, and like you'll go with the tunnel theme and stuff, and like establish that play style throughout. And then other people, it's like even the top star ranking level right now is press right and run, and none of it's capitalized, and it's just like press right and run, smiley face, and you just play it and stuff, and everything's kind of just chaos for the sake of being chaos. And it's kind of cool because it's like it probably did take them a while to make that, and so there's like some hard work put into it to make it so everything works out and is stressful where you can just push right and run. But at the same time, it's like I really hate that this is the top ranking level right now. And even like the BitBlock tweeted that out, where it's like, cool, the top 3 levels are levels that you don't even have to play, but people are starring them because it is kind of fun. But it goes back to like Jose Otero's review on IGN. He docked it like almost a whole point for no filters, and I don't know if it necessarily needs to be docked a whole point for that, but I do definitely see that concern now, where it's like, I wish I could filter between kind of like the do-it-yourself levels, or like even, I don't know, like I guess like visually appealing levels. I don't know how you'd exactly filter that, but I wish there was more of a sorting system, or even more of a ranking system where it was beyond star. Like I rank this hard and like give this 5 stars for visuals or something, or I give this 5 stars for difficulty or gameplay, just like you would rate every other game. Like you would rate this game on its graphics, or on its gameplay, or on its just wackiness and stuff. Like Goat Simulator is a really popular game, not for its graphics but for how wacky it is, but then Mario's praised for its gameplay, and then Uncharted's praised for its graphics. It's like all in that different system. And with Mario Maker encouraging you to kind of create almost different genres with the Mario title, it's kind of weird that there is like just no sorting system or filter system whatsoever online.
Yeah, I was thinking that a possible suggestion I had a while back was that they could possibly add tags or something. Like, pre-made tags, like not people just adding whatever tags they want, but maybe if there was just a set of like 50 tags, and then you could just add them to your level, like. And I'm not sure how exactly they would go about that, but I was thinking that's a possible suggestion, like that, the whole don't touch anything type levels, if there's a term for that. I'm not exactly sure, just the Rube Goldberg kind of design thing, but I'm not sure what they would exactly name the tags, what kind of tags you could use for the levels, but there's several things that I think they could do. Like one thing I was wishing that there was you could just upload your levels as unlisted, so that your friends could play test them for you before that you share them publicly. So that because for example, the one level I uploaded, the Don't Spike Me, when you went through and played it and you found the whole glaring flaw, or like Andre and Game Explain, his review said that also, where he had a big flaw in one of his levels, then you just can't change it. Because, for example, like with mine, it wasn't a big deal to take mine down and change it and re-upload it, because basically I don't think I'd gotten 1 star on it. No, hardly anybody played it. But in like Andre's case, maybe he'd had 2,000 stars and was like, he can't do anything about that. So it'd be nice if before you shared it for your stars and for everybody to appreciate and comment, that you could like have it unlisted or just a private for sending your friends the code. Yeah. And so I'm thinking that would be a pretty easy patch.
Like a friends only thing. Like I'm really surprised that with how much they in every other game they really push friends. Like in Splatoon, you can only do things with your friends, and in Smash, your friends thing is constantly on the for fun thing, like to play with your friends. Yeah. And from what I've seen, there's no friends marker in Super Mario Maker. Like I have to search for your levels individually by the code, and then I can choose to follow you. But even then, like it takes a while to update and stuff, and like then you have to follow me back. Like there's no disconnection with friends in that way. And so yeah, it's really weird that you can't do like upload for friends only, or upload for public, or upload for only those that have the code. And things like that, like those options and stuff, kind of like YouTube has or something. Yeah. I mean, or even like in any other online multiplayer game where there's just the option to have your friends only. And Nintendo especially pushes that. And then what would be cool is if they did something like that, then you could also add in the whole sound clips thing, where it's like you could use the sound clips that you can use in the local, like if someone plays your game locally, then you could also do that for online play, but only if it's in the uploaded to your friends only thing. And so hopefully that seems like a really easy fix to add in friend integration, because I feel like that's, I don't know code, but with how universal that is as a standard in gaming to have your friends list in there, I feel like that could be an easy switch and easy patch that wouldn't radically change anything as far as their coding or just the original plan they had for the game. But yeah, the other complaints I heard online were just the lack of themes, and that would kind of sometimes docket points for why people would maybe consider it not a 10 out of 10 game. The filters, as Jose said, and I forgot what his other complaint was, but I think it was something along the lines of, the no slopes, I think was something he said, and then, the no checkpoints. And as far as no slopes goes, so far, gameplay-wise, I haven't found that too hindering. The levels I've made, I've been replaying my levels, actually. Just every now and then, I just go back through and kind of replay them, and it has such a good flow to them and stuff, and I just like kind of get more ideas and stuff I like and stuff I didn't like about my previous levels. And never when I'm playing my games or even playing online or even playing yours am I like, man, this really sucks though there's no slopes here.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't noticed that yet. It would be really awesome if they were there, but that I don't think that hinders the score at all. And as far as the no checkpoints go, it would be nice to have checkpoints in there because, like, say for example your level, it wasn't so much that like your Bowser Jr. boss fight was too difficult. It was just that sometimes it could get broken, or sometimes it could be a little too frustrating for the sake, like, because of just the nature of the game and the nature of the way things are laid out. And or even with there's the final boss fight in my level, the Broken Spring, where you have to fight Bowser, and I make it so it's pretty hard. We have to do like precise jumps over him and then land and then quickly get a question block and stuff. Like, you have to be pretty quick, and if you're not ready for that, it can be kind of difficult. And so in both of those scenarios, it'd be really nice to, like, right beforehand put a checkpoint so then people aren't so punished going all the way back to the beginning. Because right now I'm kind of at a point where I'm making my levels somewhat shorter. Because I just don't want people to have to, like, go on this long journey. And as I'm playing it, I'm like, okay, it's starting to get kind of long, not for the sake of like a Mario level, but like it's getting long with no checkpoint. Yes. And so I usually like to, I make my levels pretty easy because I like them to be more flow and gameplay, just good vibes and good times. With like a little bit of punishing moments, but usually after a punishing moment, I quickly put a power up and maybe even a 1-up in case you did happen to die there, like, so people playing online can be like, okay, here's a 1-up, I'm sorry to take away one of your lives, like, just enjoy the level and have fun. And I'm working on one right now. It's more wall jumpy, because I'm trying to experiment with the new Super Mario Brothers style, and that one will be more punishing. But even in that, like, for those that have the controls down, I reward them with 1-ups and stuff. And so there's other ways to kind of not give checkpoints, but to make it so it's not so punishing as people may think it would be without checkpoints. What are your thoughts on that, though? Like, and just the other complaints, no slopes, checkpoints, the themes.
Well, to your point about the no checkpoints, yeah, I have also definitely kept in mind when I make my levels. Even my first level, very first one, was just very short. It's basically just the goal is right there. You can see it at the beginning. And it's more exploration based that I try to go with the hidden 1-ups and the 100 coins and that little bit tight level. And so basically with my other levels, I've been kind of doing that thing where I have a gameplay idea and maybe I'll have a couple sections. Usually there's a few areas that it's kind of divided up into, and I'll experiment with some gameplay ideas, but then after I've done a few things and there's some challenge, I kind of start thinking, all right, I should probably start, thinking about the goal and thinking about the end and moving on, because I can always try something else or revisit this or make it more challenging in a future level. But since there's no checkpoints and since I want it to be very doable and not frustrating, like, I want it to be a challenge and doable and something that you could kind of speed run. I want to make all my levels kind of in a way something you can just kind of go bop 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 bop, and so I don't know, I've definitely kept that in mind, and I have thought that it kind of makes it, I like it in a way that certain levels, if people aren't keeping that in mind, it's kind of frustrating because they can make a level that's so ridiculously long and challenging. On the same side, sometimes that's fun. Sometimes you want a really challenging long, you have to, because I was thinking make of a level that you kind of make a whole world in one level, and it's kind of
Yeah.
like the NES Classic days, where if you die, it's kind of back to the beginning, and that's kind of how a lot of those original games worked. Um, but yeah, I've kind of liked the limitation in a way that it's made me do that at the same time that it's made me kind of limit my levels and think about, you know, focusing on one area and focusing on this area and then
Yeah.
focusing on
Yeah.
how to get to the ending and how that all has to work together in kind of a quicker way because there's no checkpoints. And I can see how, you know, if you wanted to make the longer level that has a checkpoint, it's disappointing. I can see how both sides. But yeah, I was thinking that's not really a huge dock for me because of how I've used it to my benefit. And same with like the slopes, I really haven't noticed like the level that I remade for you, the Koji Boon remix, started off when I made that game original or that level originally in that kind of Mario online program that you could make levels with. It had slopes, and in this new one, because we discussed a while back, do you think I can remake this level in Mario Maker when it comes out? And you were like, for sure, I think you can. And it's like there's no slopes and things like that, so I went in and I tried it, and I totally got it to, I believe, work. And I believe I made it a better version of the level that I made
Yeah.
before with the slopes. And so, yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
still think that's your best level. I love it so much because it just has such a nice flow to it.
Yeah,
And yeah, once again, it was originally based on an idea with slopes and wasn't hindered at all. And
yeah.
yeah,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
my biggest complaint so far is the online levels are, at least for now, just so much crap.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've made 4 levels that I've uploaded
Yeah.
in going on 3 days now. And I'm pretty sure the people that are uploading those crap levels, they're probably like on level 20 right now because they're just like
Yeah.
scribble, scribble, scribble. Oh, well, I'm gonna put a bunch of Goombas here that you have to jump over. Ha ha ha! They're all stacked up on each other. That's so funny because it's Mario. And then they just go and they're like, oh, I got to the goalpost. Okay, cool. Try to beat that. And then like I'm over here like taking hours and hours to like count out little blocks and be like, okay, that's 5 across, and so that'll make it so you have to jump there, and that'll make it so that place is there. Okay, cool. And then here, and then the warp pipe, and then I'll put a 1 up here in case someone dies there, and I'll do that. And then to incorporate it back with the question block theme, I'm going to put a bunch of question blocks here, but in order to give that relevancy, I'm going to have the thwomps hit them, and then I'm going to add this sound effect in here, and I get 2 stars, and people just go to the next
Yeah.
level. And it's just like, I wish
Yeah,
there was, hopefully as time goes on,
Well, then the
levels-
crap level has 29 stars. The
Yeah.
one has all the Goombas sprayed, and the goal post is covered with bricks to the very top of it.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I saw one that was just a bunch of springs, and you just had to jump and try to fight your way to the goalpost. And you're just being like smacked around, and Mario's just freaking out. And then it's like, yeah, 30 stars. And hopefully as time goes on, people will kind of start to focus more on the levels that like have had time dedicated to them, and there's like an aesthetically pleasing design. And because I think what'll happen is, as levels get more stars and as people kind of play and notice more, and I think also a lot of people are mainly uploading right now and not playing too much.
Right.
At least if everyone's like me and you, like you and I have played a couple times, but most of our time is spent making right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll get to a point where people will max out how many levels they can upload, and they'll have to start playing others.
Right,
And
which
so-
I'm getting kind of close. I have 6 out of 10 uploaded, so
Yeah.
and I'm working on my 7th right now, and so yeah, I mean I have to get. I think I'm not sure how that works exactly though, because I played the easy mode through about 7 times now just to unlock different costumes, and I'm wondering if maybe I haven't switched over to the normal mode yet because I've just been trying to blow through it to get costumes unlocked. So I'm thinking I probably have to play through the normal, and then once I play both modes, maybe something will
No,
happen.
'cause
Or
I've
is
pla-
it core spot? Or is it?
I think it's something with core spot or something. I'm not quite sure.
I'll have to research that.
Yeah,
that's probably
I think it
off
says like in the
podcast thing.
manual, like you can talk to Mario in the menu or something, and she'll
Uh-huh.
help you out.
Okay.
And I know at the bottom it's giving me a little notification before that has said how to do it, and I just forgot how. I think it does have something to do with playing levels online, or even like commenting on a certain amount of levels or starring a certain amount. Oh
I've
no,
starred-
no. That's how you do it. I think is if you get a certain amount of stars, you unlock more levels. And so
Oh, that
like
makes sense.
if you have one medal, you can upload the 10. If you have two medals, maybe like it's 20 or something. I'm not quite sure.
Mm.
Which I thought was kind of uncool because what if you make a great level and just no one stars it and you never get to upload anymore because people just aren't starring your level?
Exactly.
But at the same time, I did kind of like that because hopefully, ideally, people won't give stars to the crappy levels, and then those people just stop uploading because they can't because they only have
Right.
10.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
And so hopefully people have justice in their hearts and um, give the star to the right level. Although one thing I got kind of irked about was if you comment on a level, it like automatically stars it for some reason.
Oh, really?
And so I commented on one level like this sucks or something, or like this is too hard, or watch out for the, because I played one today that was you played as Pikachu through the whole thing,
Uh-huh.
and it was basically Pokemon Yellow in Mario form. So like you went through Viridian Forest and there's all these vines and Goombas as monsters, and then you had to go into a cave, and when you went into the cave there was bloopers with wings, so it looked like Zubats flying at you, and it was really cool. And I commented on it like, watch out for the Zubat. And when I clicked the comment button, it gave it a star, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I would star it, but I just wanted to comment
Yeah.
and kind of advertise my name out there. And so that was kind of unfortunate. But yeah, if you get, I think if you get comments, or yeah, if you get enough stars, you can upload more. And so my other biggest complaint, though, I mean, besides the online levels, which I think a lot of kids are playing and uploading crappy levels, and I think a lot of people just don't realize that you can time travel forward, and they're not doing that. So a lot of levels are the basic themes right now. But that ties into my next complaint, which is, as someone who does like to make the levels very visually appealing, there's not much to do to make them different or unique. It's like all the same style, and it's all just those generic themes that they've offered you. And you can do quite a bit with those kind of backdrop options. There's that object that you can put, and it makes a platform, but it also kind of like covers behind itself, like as far as it goes up. Like in the original, it's kind of a just kind of ground platform where you can shake it and it becomes a brick platform where you can shake it again and it becomes like vines. And then in the it's really cool. In the Super Mario Brothers 3 one, it's just the different colored blocks for the stage. And so you can do that and really kind of fill up the screen to make it different colors and a bunch of things, which I've done a lot through my levels to make it so it's just, you kind of have a sense that you're going inside of a room or going, and there's a platform that's raised up by steel beams instead of by just suspended in the air, you know?
Uh-huh.
And I like that, but I really hope if they ever add in DLC in any sort of way that the DLC would be different themes, because that's once again, even if it's just a different ground theme, it wouldn't change any sort of physical engine or any sort of coding or something as far as like what affects the gameplay or the sounds or anything like that. It would simply be, oh, now you're in Sweet Sweet Canyon, or now you're in the desert, and like it'll just change the bricks to more of a sand brick. It would change the sky to a desert sky, and that would just, I think, really make it so you could do more immersion and kind of really bring your ideas to life if you do something where it's like, I don't know, like you're kind of trying to search for water and you're trying to search for the well and you want to go to where the Cheeps are, and you're in a desert, and it just kind of makes you more immersed in that way, I think. And so that'd be my big complaint. But you found a story about DLC, or not DLC necessarily, but an added character sprite in Japan. Do you want to talk about that for a bit?
Yeah, well, they're bringing the Famitsu mascot as an 8-bit costume, which is exclusive to Japan, and they're saying that they're not sure if it'll ever come to other countries. I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't come to other countries, honestly, but it brings up the question, well, what kind of future costumes will be coming out? Because this is kind of the first of the downloadable content for the game of costume-wise. And so it begs the possibility of a whole bunch of other costumes coming to the game, but seems they have a lot covered with their costumes currently, so I'm kind of thinking, like, what else could they bring? And possibly just, if they release a new game, maybe, like, whenever they come out, or if they, announce something that comes out in 2016, as long as they're kind of working still around this game, maybe they'll use it to promote new games by saying, like I don't know if there was a new character in Paper Jam or something, and they said we're adding this character into Super Mario Maker as an 8-bit costume, something like that. I could see them doing, or um, like I don't know if is Wolf a costume yet. I'm not
I
sure
don't
if
see
Wolf
him.
is.
No, I
Um,
haven't. No.
so yeah, if Wolf, I could see him because I would really suspect him becoming an amiibo and a Smash character at some point, and so
Yeah, that's the big
him
thing. Like with
and Shovel Knight, we
yeah, Shovel
also
Knight. Yeah,
right.
Shovel Knight. I would not be surprised if they, when that amiibo comes out, if you can tap it in, and a Shovel Knight just comes down from the heavens. And I mean, and he already has that sprite look. That would not be hard to implement him in. And that's just the big thing. Is like, if when I don't think there's any Smash DLC on the way, but we haven't got the result of the Smash ballot yet.
Yeah.
And so we would need to add that in. And
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure with how they have every other Smash character in there, including like Lucas and Mewtwo. Do they have Ryu in there or?
I am not sure exactly. I actually honestly haven't gone through and seen every single character. I've seen most of the
I actually
costumes
don't
that are in
know
the
if
game.
Ryu's in there. I think I
Um,
haven't seen anything of him because I've watched a lot of videos online of like the whole all 100 costumes and stuff,
yeah.
and I'm pretty sure I did not see him. I thought I had seen Lucas, but now that I think about it, I don't know if I saw Lucas or if it was just Ness that I saw, and so that's actually kind of weird that they're not in there.
I would think by the time if their amiibo comes out, I'm wondering if by then they would have the costume
Yeah.
DLC because, like, it seems like pretty much everything that is an amiibo will have to work with it. Otherwise, what's it going to be unlocking, or is it just going to be like, or
Or it could
be
just
like,
be
no,
like,
you
like a
can't.
random costume or something. Or I
Right?
wonder,
Yeah.
yeah, if
Yeah.
it would just do nothing. Like if you tap it, it would be like this amiibo is not compatible.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I see things like I mean, for example, Duck Hunt Dog I just unlocked the other day, and his amiibo's not out yet, right?
Right.
And so that's why I'm kind of like, if they're not in there already, are they ever going to come? Because you think they just go ahead and add them in to be kind of randomly unlocked, because you can still unlock costumes randomly without the amiibo. And so
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's combine that with the themes and stuff. I think we will probably see DLC. I wouldn't
I'm
be
thinking
surprised.
so.
I wouldn't be surprised if like there's a direct where they announce some things, because it goes back to the whole. They've had DLC for Smash, they've had DLC for Mario Kart, they've had DLC for Splatoon, and even Hyrule Warriors, like the biggest games they've been providing for, and even Hyrule Warriors, which was a lesser game, they provided for, and so I mean, this is the biggest Wii U title, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's arguably like one of the biggest Nintendo titles ever.
Hmm.
Like if this were on any other platform, like if this would have been on the Wii, I think this would have ended up being the best-selling Nintendo game ever, and definitely getting the most praise. I think the fact that it's on the Wii U greatly limits, not because of the gamepad or anything, but because of just no one has a Wii U relative to the other consoles.
Right.
But I think it's definitely like one of the biggest Nintendo titles ever, and so for them to not have DLC for it would just be just so silly. Like it's gotten so much coverage, and they're gonna want to keep it relevant for a long time. But the big thing also is like NX is coming soon, you know.
Yeah.
And
Well, I could see them using Super Mario Maker almost as a way to ride out the Wii U a little bit easier with a steady DLC plan, which I would hope they have, so that while we're waiting for like Zelda U, which is one of the only titles that I can really think of unless they announce something early, like while we're waiting for the NX, we're gonna need a steady supply of something. I'm thinking that kind of the Smash Bros. Ballot
mhm.
and maybe some Super Mario DLC would be a good way to keep things flowing a bit for the Wii U until the NX can kind of take over. So
Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely loving the game. To close out though, I mean, yeah, there's plenty of DLC I would like. More bosses would be cool. Just always more objects, different objects I've noticed have been missing and stuff. But I don't think I've ever really had a moment where I'm like, oh, I can't do that because I don't have this. I can't do that. Like there's always a pretty quick workaround to make it so you can fulfill your ideas that you have. And so if you're some level designer that only wants to do slides and slopes and crazy little, like the guy that only makes levels with slopes or something, then you can't be that guy. But yeah, there's so much room for creativity. Speaking though, kind of like of Mario and creating games, the creator of Mario, Miyamoto, has said a lot actually in the past week. Lots of interviews, kind of like a little tour over in Europe. And in the midst of that, he said a lot of things. He talked about Galaxy 3 for a bit. He talked about a lot of his Mario memories. He talked about developing Super Mario Maker with Takashi Tezuka. He talked about he showed up to Nintendo Life and had a very awkward interaction with that Splatoon guitar player guy.
Oh yeah.
And so he's just been, there was a moment there where like My Nintendo News and IGN and all sorts of YouTube channels were just blowing up with Miyamoto confirms Pikmin 4 and Galaxy 3 and all sorts of stuff. And so I thought we could talk a little bit about him. And there's also an IGN feature that I was going to kind of bring up in the context of Mario Maker that discussed Nintendo icons and their their favorite Mario memories. And so real quick though, before we move on to that, where do you think Miyamoto will be taking the Mario franchise or taking the series? Because he's mentioned that it's going to go in a new direction with the NX and whatever the next side-scrolling Mario game is, because of a game like Mario Maker and the new technology that's going to be coming forward.
Virtual reality.
There we go. The new Virtual Boy NX.
Virtual Mario.
Virtual Mario 3D reality. Oh man, I watched so many interviews this past week with that Charles Martinet guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, take it easy. Like, I know you're the voice of Mario, but he's just like, hi guys, I'm Charles Martinet, and today we're gonna have a great time. Woohoo! And it's like, are you like stuck in like schizophrenia Mario mode? Like, I think part of him like genuinely believes that, but he also seemed like a great guy. He honestly reminded me of a lot of Robin Williams.
Yeah, he does remind me a lot of him. He seems like a really great guy, always smiling and happy. And
yeah, I don't think they were designing the Mario levels, and I know this is a brief tangent and stuff, but they were designing the Mario levels, and he was always pointing at the screen and just always seemed so thrilled, like he was playing the game and just loved it. Like, he was just so happy, and you can just tell, I think he's gonna die like, oh man, I was Mario my whole life. What a good life, you know? Like,
yeah.
I mean, he's just so happy. I think it's so cool that he realizes that. But where was I going? I was going with Miyamoto. Oh, taking it in a new direction, the whole virtual reality thing.
When he passes away, are they gonna play the music?
Oh
when he bum 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 bum
bum bum bum bum. Oh no, that's so sad. I bet he's already requested it though. Like, his tombstone's gonna be like the Mario icon of death. And I'm gonna show up to his funeral and just play the Bowser laugh. Anyway though, Miyamoto taking it in a new direction. Virtual reality. No, I think honestly we may start seeing some things where they experiment with kind of like Little Big Planet, for example, has the whole 3-layer thing, or even Kirby's Triple Deluxe has the whole mechanic of like you can go into the background, you can come to the foreground. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that. Where just Mario, like, that's how he would be moving in a new direction, is like that kind of multi-dimensional but still a side scroller, and I can imagine doing so many things with that. And
well,
there's go ahead.
It's interesting that they did that back with I forget what was the title. It was like Wario on the Virtual Boy, the Wario game that they did in 3D on that title. Did that where you go into the foreground and kind of back. Yeah. And we were playing Yoshi's Island recently, and we were kind of talking about when we did that level how they kind of did a bit of that with the chomps, kind of coming back and then coming into the foreground. So yeah, they've done that for quite a long time, which makes me think, I don't know if that's, since Mario, they always try to do something that's really a bit innovative and different and new and fresh, that since they've already done something like that in Little Big Planet and Triple Deluxe and the Virtual Boy title, the Wario title, and I wonder if they will do that, and they also have done that a bit in Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I was gonna say Donkey Kong was a big thing.
Yeah. So I just wonder if, like, Yeah, I don't know. It just makes me think a bit. Like, I wonder if they would actually do that because they did kind of borrow a lot from Little Big Planet with the whole Super Mario Maker.
Yeah,
People
that's actually what kind
instantly.
of gave me the idea was the whole concept of um, like Little Big Planet being influenced and stuff, and I don't know. I thought maybe that's why they wouldn't do that, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they played a lot of Little Big Planet and they're kind of like this is really good because Sackboy was starting to take a lot of attention away from Nintendo. And being the kind of that cute, approachable Sony icon, and so I wouldn't be surprised if they got intimidated and may have just started to copy him. But I could
Right.
also see, I mean, they have Super Paper Mario, which is a side-scrolling Paper Mario game, but then you can also turn it and you can face the dimension, like you can see kind of the tunnel you're going on. And I don't know, for some reason I'm just kind of fixated on that, like the whole concept of it just being a multi-layered 3D Mario or a side-scrolling Mario, and being able to kind of turn the camera and see, like I could so well picture like a World 1-1 like trailer where it's just Mario going and then the camera turns and like all of a sudden you see what Mario sees looking forward, you know. And that's just kind of like my guess and stuff, but no, it'll definitely be interesting. It kind of goes to the thing where if Nintendo's truly going to be innovative and revolutionary, then we just can't guess it, but that'd be my guess. Or, as you say, virtual reality. But moving forward, he also went on to talk about Galaxy 3, and we can actually talk about that next week. This week I have going up on youtube.com/kazrisk a bunch of Let's Plays around the 3D platforming Mario. I have today should be 64. Tomorrow will be Galaxy 1, Galaxy 2 the day after that. Super Mario 3D World on Thursday, and then hopefully to have some Super Mario Maker coverage on Friday. And so kind of with that lead up, maybe we can more fittingly talk about Galaxy 3 next week, and I kind of talk about it briefly in the Let's Plays. And so we don't need to touch on that too much quite yet. But he also went on to talk about just his other favorite memories, and we can't spend too much time on this because I want to get a little bit to the other news, and we have to start wrapping up here soon. But all of the Nintendo, or not all the Nintendo icons, but IGN had a feature where 9 big Nintendo guys talked about their favorite Mario memories kind of in celebration of his 30th anniversary. And I was going to read a couple here. Some of them I don't honestly know too well, or I'm sorry, but I don't think they're too iconic because I haven't heard of the name, and I love Nintendo so much, and so I doubt like just the average Joe would have heard of him. But like I feel like a lot of gamers would know Miyamoto, but like not a lot of people would know Katsuya Iguchi. Like he's the general manager at Nintendo EAD, but I mean he's a big head honcho guy, but I'm not too keen on what his favorite Mario memory is compared to Miyamoto, you know. But yeah, Miyamoto's biggest memory, or like most cherished memory, was the N64 and creating Mario in a 3D light, and kind of having that immersion by making Mario go wherever he wanted to go. It was funny, the manager for, or maybe no, it was the producer at Nintendo. His favorite memory was Super Mario Brothers 3. And he made a comment where he's like, I look at what you guys can do now with Super Mario Maker, and the manager said, I look at what you guys can do with Super Mario Maker that we're showing off, and if only I had that, how much easier my life would have been at that point. And so you just imagine him being so stressed out with making it. Lots of Super Mario Brothers 3 love. There's only like one person that loved Super Mario Brothers U, and then my favorite at the bottom was just Bill Trennan. Because his favorite was just the NES Super Mario Brothers original, and I love that he says he still plays it on the Virtual Console, and then he plays the arcade version at Full Tilt Ice Cream in Seattle. And so it's just kind of cool to see their favorite memories and stuff, and how they each kind of appreciated a different era because of how they worked on them and how the technology at the time was really innovative. And now they look at something like Super Mario Maker, where it's just we're all doing what they were able to do. And it's going to be really cool that like in 30 years there's going to be game developers that are like, oh, I started playing Super Mario Maker and like became a game developer because of that. And like I have a article over on IGN.com slash blog slash kazrisk about how Super Mario Maker is going to change everything in the gaming world, and especially with Nintendo and Nintendo fans, because it's kind of its first ability to its first ability to, or people's first ability to, like, to create and design games themselves. And so what were your thoughts kind of like on the whole any of that? I mean, did you have anything to share, or
About like what's my favorite Mario memory, or just about what their memories
just like
are? Or
what they were kind of sharing? And even, I don't know if you read anything about Miyamoto in this past week, but or just
well,
any
I
thoughts?
did see him talk about how Mario 64 was his favorite, and I saw Tezuka talk about how he really appreciated his time with Super Mario Brothers 3 since he was like the director over that project. Personally, I would have to say my favorite memory is it's gotta be either between Super Mario World and 64. I'm probably gonna have to go with Super Mario World. It's my favorite memory.
Okay.
Because I don't know. It's but Miyamoto. Yeah, we saw the whole Pikmin 4 announcement and how he talked about Bowser Jr.'s mother and did a couple.
Oh yeah,
Videos. Yeah.
I actually got featured on the Daily Fix. Naomi Kyle asked like what people's favorite news article of the week was, and I tweeted at her and said, Miyamoto is Bowser Jr.'s mom? Like, what? And I got featured on there, and that was perfect. I hope that just sticks with being canon forever, and it's like in game manuals and stuff. It's like, even if they like cutesy it up a bit, where it's like Mama Miyamoto or something is Bowser Jr.'s mom. But that was so cute, and just the fact that, like, I don't know, people made a big deal about Super Mario Brothers 3 being a play. That was always obvious.
Oh yeah.
I thought like the biggest thing, like the interesting questions were like, are Boo's dead Goombas and stuff, and how Miyamoto had to think about it for a bit, and how, I mean, I don't know.
Or is Mario about to die on the box art?
Oh yeah, because
like,
is the fireball going towards him, or is he shooting the fireball?
Yeah.
But that was a really funny video, and I just don't know why the focus was it's a play. Oh yeah, and Super Mario Bros. 2 is a dream, and I mean, it's like, what in the world? Or are bricks like cursed toads? Because it says in the game manual that he turned everyone into bricks, like Bowser did. And so, like, is Mario killing toads every time he stomps on a brick? Like, those are the real questions to ask. And why did Mario grind on Luigi's shoe? Like, I want to know. But yeah, that's enough Mario talk. Long story short, if you maybe skipped ahead or something, or you kind of are looking through the podcast because you don't want to hear about Mario Maker, the point is we loved it. It's a great game. Go pick it up if you haven't already. If you have a Wii U, go pick it up. And if you don't have a Wii U, this is finally the reason to play with the gamepad. The gamepad feels so great. Can't imagine. Can't imagine the game without it. And it's the best. And you know why, because we've just talked about it for the past 50 minutes. But moving forward to wrap up in these last 10 minutes, we're exactly right now at the 50-second mark. As far as the audio goes, the intro music and outro music will probably make it longer, but we're at the 50-second or 50-minute mark now, to touch on some brief news bits throughout this week, and we'll address more news next week because this is our special Super Mario Maker episode. Nintendo briefly discussed the Star Fox visuals, stating that the reason for the basic graphics is that this is the first time players will be using two screens like this on the Wii U, and mentions the quote, being able to use the R-Ring, which is everyone is so familiar with, transform naturally into the Landmaster or land-based walker, will be a fun and exciting new experience. And I've also heard a lot of interviews, like they praise it for running at 60 frames per second on both the gamepad and on the Wii U screen. I actually don't think this is the first time, though, that they've done that, because if you played co-op on Hyrule Warriors, they did the exact same thing, and that was the same reason they said the graphics were kind of iffy on that. And so for them praising this as the first time, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but yeah, the game releases on November 20th. We've talked a bunch about how much we don't like the graphics on that game, or wish they were better. We tolerate certain aspects of it, but it's just kind of a muddy-looking game, and I guess if it has the two screens rendering, that's an impressive feat, but at the same time, I don't care, because they sacrificed visuals to have it on 2 screens. Like, no, just make it look good on 1 screen and use the gamepad for something else. Like, or mirror it or something. Like, don't render 2 completely different worlds on 2 separate screens. Like, it's just, I don't know why they thought about that was a good idea. Like, oh, it'd be so cool if you had this point of view on this screen. Like, no.
Yeah.
No, like, I just don't get that. Like, because now they have a first-person view on the gamepad, and you can focus even more on how bad it looks because it's first-person view up there in the action. Like, it's just like... Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't get it. I think they were just super stubborn with the gamepad needing to be used, and I think Miyamoto was like, it'd be cool if it was used as a cockpit, and they said, well, if we do that, we're gonna have to render a completely separate game on there, and he was like, do it. Or someone else was like, oh, Miyamoto said to use that as an idea, and now we're gonna stick with that, or something. Like, I feel like there was just some sort of stubbornness.
Gamepad, like, reason for the gamepad, and they start working on this, cockpit view and everything, and then suddenly they're like, hey, check out this demo of Super Mario Maker they're working on. Miyamoto's like, oh my god, that looks great. And they're like, yep, we found the answer. Like, Mario Maker comes after, and it's suddenly solves the issue, but then they've been working on this Star Fox game that has this cockpit.
Miyamoto wasn't even like involved in Super Mario Maker at last E3. Like, he was doing Giant Roboto and
yeah, exactly. It was all Tezuka, basically.
He's such a quiet, humble guy. Like, even I watched a video where like they were at like some sort of workshop where they were teaching like how to make Mario Maker levels, and Miyamoto was doing all the talking, and Tezuka's just like nodding and kind of has his finger on his lip, like he's just quietly observing.
He just wanted to go knit some more yarn Yoshi.
He's just like, his fingers are twitching. Gotta get out of here and go knit me some more. Oh, man. Yeah, he's got a large order coming up soon. And so, but no, yeah, that's ridiculous. Come on, Nintendo. That looks ugly. But the other 2 bits of news I want to make sure we address before we head out is that Disney has announced what basically looks like a Splatoon ripoff. Quote, grab your ink gun and paint your turf as quickly as you can. It's part of the Disney toy box. There's a very disgusting looking picture, even worse than Star Fox, of like Buzz Lightyear shooting a paintball gun. And it's like almost the exact same thing as like the skate park level of Splatoon. And it's like a ramp and it's covering, I mean, it's like ridiculous. But yeah, Splatoon's doing what it wanted to do, where it's establishing the Super Smash Brothers of shooters. And what I mean by that is it's the fun party game of shooters, and people are going to be ripping that off for a long time. And I wouldn't be surprised if one day there's PlayStation All-Stars Splat Royale and stuff. Like, to say that. And there's going to be that all over the place, and it's just, I'm not worried about it at all. Splatoon's just going to be more and more successful, and if anything, people are going to play Disney's Infinity's Toy Box, play the Splatoon level, and be like, this is so fun, and then they're going to see Splatoon and be like, oh, this looks so much better, because it does look better. Yeah. And Splatoon's such a perfect game that I'm kind of nervous that I'm going to be ignoring Splatoon with Super Mario Maker. I got to make sure I dedicate some time to go back and get my rank up, because that's such a fun game, and I don't want it to get ignored. But yeah, and then the last thing we're going to close out with, and we'll have to talk about it more next week, because next week we'll be dying down a little bit on Super Mario Maker. We'll probably still talk about it because we'll be making levels, but our levels will do, like, you'll just kind of see our levels and be able to play them instead of us talk about them at that point. But our last bit of news, and we'll talk about this more next week, as I said, is Pokemon Go.
Oh, yeah.
The Pokemon MMO online, everyone's playing it everywhere in the world, game that we've been waiting for. I'm pretty excited. I haven't let the excitement completely sink in because I want to see it in action more.
Yeah, same here.
But and that's also kind of why I don't want to talk about it too much and why we just saved it for last, because it's mainly just I wanted to bring it up in Koppai for the sake of we recognize it, we know it exists, we are excited. I think you're excited, right? I'm excited.
Yeah, well, the only issue that I see with it so far is just that the whole announcement trailer that we got seemed very proof of concept-ish.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like we actually got any for sure, you know, like it didn't seem like anything's for sure finished yet, or like if it is, it's pretty rough and they don't want to show exactly. They showed a lot of prototype looking things, and so I'm really skeptical still if it is like a real Pokemon. Like if it's not fighting like in some gimmicky shuffly way or some, I don't know. I just want it to be where you raise your Pokemon somehow, where you walk around and maybe even just your steps, or not even, maybe slightly getting raised by your steps, but mostly like when fighting other people and fighting the wild Pokemon that you come across. Like hopefully when you run into a wild Pokemon, it's not just, because what their prototype trailer kind of showed, it seemed almost like they ran into a Pokemon and then they just threw a Pokeball at it. I want it to be where you go and you have to you have to use a Pokemon, you have to weaken it a bit, and then throw, like, it doesn't seem like, if it's not that, it's not going to be a total replacement for the video games, which maybe is a good thing. Maybe we don't need a total replacement for it, but I did think it'd be cool if it was very much sticking to what Pokemon gameplay-wise is, where you go out and it's not just you come across a Pokemon and then toss a Pokeball at it. You have to, I mean, you can, but there's a chance that it's not going to work as good as if you weakened it with one of the Pokemon in your party. And I just think that I hope it stays very much like that, and maybe even where there's gym leaders or something, that if you maybe you don't have to go to a certain location for a gym leader, but maybe once you collect your Pokemon and raise them to a certain level, then you can go online and fight a gym leader or something like that. I don't know. It'd be cool that if they really do it in a very true to Pokemon style, instead of something where we've seen a whole bunch of times where they do a sort of knockoff different style on their concept of Pokemon. Then I don't know. That's what I'm hoping for. So I'm waiting to see more about it and seeing if it's really what it's trying to advertise to be, because they're really trying to, it seems, get to our generation of Pokemon fans, of us original people who got into Pokemon. And that's one of the reasons that we originally got into Pokemon, was because of the competitive fun elements of the trading and the fighting each other, and just a simpler version. It doesn't need to be any simpler, it doesn't need to be any different. I think they just need to keep it what it is. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. So
yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I think, yeah, the whole proof of concept thing, I want to see more of it, as they kind of led off with. And then just, I was very much so impressed. I thought it was going to kind of be like, they had that joking thing on April Fool's Day where you could like use Google Maps to go catch Pokemon around you. And it was kind of basically like, oh, go to the Eiffel Tower and you have Charizard all of a sudden. And like, this seems much more based in the Pokemon game that we know and love, where it's like you can battle and you can catch Pokemon. And I think it was just kind of for the sake of the trailer that they just immediately caught him. But even then, like, you look in the anime and Ash immediately caught the Caterpie. Like, and so there's like aspects like that. So maybe there's somewhere easier to catch than others. And then you just had the fact that it's the trailer. But I thought it was really cool that you could battle other people. Because, I mean, you get the Pokemon Go Plus and you have it on your wristband. It's like what we've all wanted since we were kids. of having the Pokemon on our belt or on our person, and we walk around and we train them, and we see Pokemon in the wild, and then we can also go and we see someone else wearing a Pokemon Go Plus, and we're like, hey, that's another trainer, and we can challenge them.
Our eyes have met.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we have to make eye contact though, and it's just like, now you can't move. You walk towards me, or I'm gonna walk towards you, even if I get hit by a car. And you just go towards them, and just people battling on the streets. Like, I love the idea of that happening, or like going to like even like midnight releases of Super Mario Maker, and because it's all Nintendo kids, you go there and you see the other person that has it, and you're just like, oh, that's another Pokemon trainer here, and you just, I mean, I'm just so excited if it becomes something like that. And I think the direction of the trailers seem to be that way, but hopefully we get more details soon. Hopefully we have a Nintendo Fall Direct soon. We haven't had a Nintendo Direct since E3, right? Like, since that. And a lot of that's with Iwata's passing and stuff, but I think a lot of it's also just they're very weird in between stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had one holiday direct, and hopefully we get more details on what's been happening with Pokemon, maybe more details on Pokemon Go, like a more official loud announcement, because that was kind of like more of a Japan thing and just kind of isolated to the Pokemon conference. And so hopefully we get something with that. DLC for Smash, Kart, Splatoon, Super Mario Maker. Hopefully Nintendo speaks up soon, because now that Super Mario Maker's out, it's just kind of wait and see point to like see what happens next with them. It's just Woolly World, Xenoblade, and all of that. Yeah. But now this was the big release. That's kind of like, okay, now what? Like, what are you guys going to lead up to now? And so it'll be interesting though, because Koppai will always be here to talk with you guys. This wraps up episode 5. Our Super Mario Maker Extravaganza, with a little bit of other news sprinkled in there for you guys to soak on up. And we'll be back next week, and we'll discuss more things. We'll share our Mario Maker levels that we've been making throughout the week. As I mentioned, this week I'll be having Let's Plays go up. I'll probably have a Let's Play where I play Zach's levels and put the links to those. I may put a couple links in the description below of this one, or I may just save those for another time. If you follow, I don't know, he's not tweeting them out, but I was going to say, if you follow him on Twitter, maybe at zakrisk, you can find him. I'll probably sometimes tweet them out, but also if you find us on Miiverse, if you go on Miiverse and find at zakrisk and at kazrisk, you can find that. Or maybe I'll just put, here's what I'll do. I'll put a link to one of our levels. We can pick our favorites and put them in the link of Koppai, or in the bottom of Koppai, and once you get to that one, you can follow us on Super Mario Maker. There you go. If you want to see our levels, it's way harder than it needs to be, but there you go. And so we'll put one of those long codes in there, and we'll be back next week. So be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, share us with your friends, and leave a comment down below. We've invited you several times to share your comments in the comment section below for different topics, and so pick one, talk about it, and stay fresh. Get the Splatoon reference there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go buy Super Mario Maker. Anything you want to close out with, Zach?
Super Mario Maker!
Oh, number 1!
Woohoo!
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night! Woohoo! Oh man, Koppai.
Koppai.
Koppai. Goodbye.